2013 Honda Accord starter replacement. I'm Brian Esser from How To Automotive, and I'm going to take you step by step through the process of replacing the starter on this 2.4 liter four-cylinder Honda Accord. So one of the first steps we need to do is disconnect the negative battery cable. But on what I like to use as a tool we have here at the shop is it's a Keep Alive. So you plug this into the data link connector, and what it does is it keeps your radio codes and you keep your navigation, stuff like that, alive, but it allows you to work on the car safely without arcing out with the batteries and stuff. So what I'm going to do is plug this device into the data link connector, and that'll keep all the memories alive. If you guys don't have something like this, you may have to locate the radio codes after you're done and enter the radio codes back into the radios and stuff. This saves you a little bit of time if you have these. So you just plug it into the data link connector, and that's it. So now that you got the negative cable disconnected, we need to get this vehicle in the air as high as we can. If you're doing this at home, you want to probably jack the front up and use floor jacks and jack stands to support it. The starter is underneath the intake manifold on the back side here. Okay, so to get started, the starter is right here. So you got your oil pan right here. It's just slightly to the left of the exhaust here. And here's the starter. So to get started, what we're going to do is remove this wire loom and the electrical connectors and the battery positive lead that goes to the starter itself. So on the wire loom itself, I'm going to push this little tab up here like that, and then slide the loom off. And then around here in the back a little further is the electrical connector. You just push the squeeze tab and pull the electrical connector off, like so. And then here's the squeeze tab that you'll press. So the positive lead's got a rubber boot over it, so you need to use a pick tool or a screwdriver or something and pick this rubber boot off. And then underneath the boot will be a bolt or a nut that you'll remove, and that'll remove the cable from the starter. So as you can see, I got the boot peeled back, and then you'll remove the 12mm bolt or nut. Okay, now that we got the battery, the positive lead disconnected and the electrical connector disconnected, you need to remove the two 14mm bolts. So there's going to be one here in the corner of the starter. Right next to the electrical connector is a long bolt, and it's kind of on a stud, and it's right here in the back, right here. So you're going to remove that, and it's kind of, if you look at the nose of the starter here, it's just above it right there. So you remove that bolt there. It's a 14mm also. So remove that one first. Then after that, you'll remove the lower in here, and then we'll be able to work the starter. You'll kind of just lift the wiring out of your way like this, and then you'll be able to work the starter out. So this is my setup. I got my ratchet on there. There is enough room to probably get a air ratchet in here if you want to use that. So I'm just going to crack it free with this ratchet by hand and spin the top bolt out, and then I'll remove the lower bolt. So once you get the top bolt out, that's what it's going to look like. So to get my bottom bolt out, what I use is a long extension with the socket on like this, and then I have it attached to my air ratchet, and I'm just going to buzz the bottom bolt out. And as you do that, the starter itself it'll start leaning on you, so you may be prepared to catch it because it could fall out of the car itself. Okay, to get it out, I'm just going to pull it over the axle shaft like so and pull it out. So here's the factory part numbers for the starter on this 2013 Honda Accord here. So when I go to put this back in, I'll put it back into the flip it over the axle and put it back into the housing, into the bell housing, and I'm going to start the lower bolt first, and I'm going to run it up to its run it all the way up to it's just barely touching, and then I'll start the top bolt, and that'll give me a little bit of tiny bit of wiggle room to start the top bolt. And so once you got the bottom bolt in, the top bolt is kind of, you have to kind of do it it's kind of like a blind hole. You just kind of gotta stick it in the vicinity and kind of feel for it. And once you get it started, then you can go ahead and tighten the top bolt, and then you can tighten the bottom bolt. They do have factory specs for it, but when they put these starters on, I'm sure the engine's not even in the car, and they tighten them down. So I just go ahead and tighten them down to a nice snug fit that I'm comfortable with, you know, where I feel like I'm not going to overstretch the bolt or anything like that. Just tighten it down, top and bottom bolt. The starter is physically bolted back in. We need to put the positive cable lead back, hook it back up, so you're going to have to peel that boot back again, like that, and then put your start your 12 millimeter nut on it, and then tighten it up, and don't over tighten it. They're just snug, and then once you're done, you push the rubber boot back over the top of the over it, so it doesn't come in contact with anything. Okay, now that you got the main positive lead reconnected, you can take the signal wire here and plug that back in. So you'll plug that in, and then after that you'll reattach your wire loom. Reattach the wire loom to the little bracket here. Now that everything's reattached, we're going to lower the vehicle down. Go ahead and reinstall our negative battery cable, and tighten it up. And if you didn't have the little memory saver like I showed you in the beginning of the video, you'll have to, most likely you have to reset your radio codes. So you'll have to scrounge those up, and you can find those usually in the owner's manuals. Some people, if you're doing this at a shop, the owner may not keep that in there. You may have to contact the owner or contact a dealer to get that information. And that completes the starter replacement on a 2013 Honda Accord with the 2.4 liter four-cylinder engine. I'm Brian Essa from How to Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos, encourage you to subscribe, and thank you again.